This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Black Magus, and kind of continuing on a sports lean, but not really because it's not a real sport, or at least we don't think of it as a real sport anymore. God, I miss the days when people thought wrestling was real, because shit just, like, it was a lot more fun then. Mind you, Attitude Era was fun too, even though we knew it wasn't real. We still treated it as if it was real. Now I feel like everybody, including the wrestlers, kind of treat it like it's, you know, it's just an act, which I won't even get into that. That's a whole nother topic of discussion right there. Anyway, had some controversy in WWE where Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out after they disagreed with the angle for the night's event that they were going to be in. They were going to be in the main event in a match in which they would have ended up pinning each other. And apparently it would have led to them both getting a match against the two women's champions and both subsequently losing. They didn't think that it was a wise move. They felt like it should have been a push towards a tag team match to help feature them and to help feature the women's tag team division. They had preferred to have a tag match against, one particular opponent and put them over, or get put over them, or at least start a program with them. And WWE, were like, nah, y'all got to do what y'all were told. There's talk of how producers are telling them that they need to stop acting spoiled and to get with the program, stop basically being divas. I guess you could say ironically. And Sasha and Naomi were like, nah, we're just not going to do this. And at the beginning of the Raw taping, they walked out. Things were switched around. Immediately during the show, WWE put out a statement basically saying, like, oh, they were just upset because they didn't get what they wanted to do, basically. And they were being difficult and they're being unprofessional. The next week, they had fucking Michael Cole come out. Not next week, but the next show, they had him come out and just basically read a statement talking about how unprofessional they are and how they're obligated. They didn't, fulfill their obligations, and how disappointed WWE is for them not, giving fans what they came for and disappointing fans. It's basically burying these two. They pulled their merchandise off the store, all that shit. Like, clearly burying these two, potentially maybe even firing them. I know they're probably going to try to fire Sasha because Sasha has been vocal plenty enough times to where they're probably sick of her. So what does this all mean? It's going to be interesting to see how the reaction is, because you've seen a lot of wrestlers show, like, support for them. People outside of the company, like, extra vocal and obvious. People within the company, less obvious, but still you can tell, like, they're in support of, these two people. They work together. They have relationship with them. They're backing them. But of course, the company is not. The company is basically building a case for getting rid of these people, which would be a shame because, yeah. I know a lot of people think that they're wrong because, it's like, well, you're at a job and you shouldn't walk out on your job, but wrestling isn't your normal job. And it's weird how WWE has successfully worked to make people think that it actually is. Yeah, I know they do have contracts and stuff now, but they still treat them as independent workers. It's no different than the contract that you signed when you started to do Uber or Lyft or DoorDash or anything like that. Yeah, you have signed this contract, but that contract is mainly for the benefit of the company these days, because they can treat you as if you're an employee when they're ready to treat you as an employee. But when the shoe's on the other foot and there's demands from these people who are always being told, like, you're being unprofessional, you're not doing your job, and you're not abiding by your contract. Well, circle back to the other side, and it's like, well, you're not necessarily an employee, you're an independent contractor, and we're not obligated to do certain things for you. That's how it works. And it's just wild, it's just very, very wild because WWE has not been the product that it used to be. And I say that like dating back to even the early to mid 2000s. Like, I think once the Attitude Era kind of died down and Vince finally dominated the landscape and got rid of WCW as his biggest competitor and things like that, and took over a lot of markets all throughout the country and the world subsequently, I feel like it's just basically been a rush to make a squeaky clean corporation that will pass the smell test for advertisers in certain networks, but at the same time devalue their wrestlers, because this whole superstar, WWE universe shit, the wrestlers aren't as valuable as they used to. The wrestlers don't carry the weight that they used to. There's a handful of people who have gotten over so much that they kind of have some navigation, some ability to control their own destinies. But for the most part, you're just a plug-in. They look at you as just like a part of the show. Again, it goes back to the whole Lyft, DoorDash analogy that I made. You're only as important as their need for you. They can find someone else to fulfill that need, and we've seen them do in the last few years how they've let go so many people, that they feel that they can do that because they've signed all these new people from other athletic backgrounds and things like that. Just people who just want to be WWE superstars and pass the tryouts. They've brought in so many new people, to develop, to basically pass the baton to, that your value as a superstar in WWE is only as long as they can, as long as what they can get out of you, what they feel they can get out of you, and then you're gone. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. It's interesting. Um, I hope these two ladies get the benefit of the doubt and be given another opportunity. Because it sucks. It sucks being. It already sucks being a regular employee and having the fear of voicing your opinion and standing up for yourself because you think you're going to lose your job. But in this instance, it's even more treacherous because it kind of is like they have most of the cards, where because they have you under this contract, they can write up all types of language hidden in to validate their reasons to get rid of you. At the same time, even though you're under contract, they never saw you as like a valued asset really anyway. So, you just a temporary asset until they have no other use for you. It's very, very interesting. I hope everything works out for both of them. I definitely do back them, and it would be nice to see this resolved in a way in which nobody loses their position except for the WWE, creative team, because they suck dick, like serious dick. Anyway, as always, you guys feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you're thinking. I'll holler at you later. This is your boy Black Makers, and I'm out. Deuces.